Hey, this is Steve and Jonathon with Comic Talk 616. You want to introduce yourself for us?
Yeah, my name is Yong Woo. I'm the lead producer in Hearthstone. Thanks for having me, guys.
We're stoked to have you. So happy.
So yeah, we're gonna ask him some questions. I'm gonna give the mic to Jonathon, and we'll do this thing. So.
All right, awesome.
So Comic Talk 616 style is kind of uncouth sometimes. So I like to start with more like personal stuff. So who's Yong Woo?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Let's see. I've been working at Blizzard for 8 years now.
Nice.
I've played Blizzard games when I was growing up.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I played a ton of StarCraft 1. I'm Korean, so it makes sense. So it's really funny because when I saw the credits for StarCraft 1, you would see a guy's name, Bob Fitch, in there. He was there to make the game I loved so much in high school.
Yeah.
And recently he kind of joined another team, but for a while Bob Fitch was the tech director on Hearthstone. So it was amazing for me to work with someone I thought was so awesome making the game from my childhood, and then kind of working together on another awesome game like Hearthstone together was really cool. And there's a bunch of that. Jay Baxter's on our team. He was also in the credits for some of these early Blizzard game I worked on. So I guess before I'm anything, I'm first a Blizzard fanboy, and then now I have the privilege to work at Blizzard. So
on Hearthstone, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's been really awesome.
I read online a little bit about you before we started. Is it true that a lot of where Hearthstone is because of your vision?
We like to say at Blizzard that all games are designed by Blizzard.
Right.
I think we really don't like to talk about, like whose idea was this, who owns this. I think we all own it together as a Blizzard family.
Mm-hmm.
I joined a team about 4 years ago, so I was like number 11 on the team. So there's already 10 people working on the game when I joined.
Yeah.
Where I had a lot of hand in earlier on was to really get the game out to alpha, company alpha. And then we did our closed beta and open beta. So that's kind of when I got pulled into the project and got it done.
And
so.
you were a senior game producer at that point, or?
Well, back then, it's a while ago. What was my title? I was some kind of producer.
Okay. And now you're lead producer, though.
Yes, I'm the lead producer now. Yeah. So your question is like, what do you do?
No.
Okay.
You work on Hearthstone, and like you said, with Blizzard, you guys are kind of all.
Yeah, I think it's good to chat about it real quick. Maybe your audience is interested in this, because it's very common for me to get questions on Twitter about, it's like, hey, Young, like, why did you design the card this way? Or, hey, Young, like, this art is so beautiful. Good job, Young. And there are really 4 distinct roles in a game team at Blizzard. There is design, there is art, there's engineering, and there's production.
Right.
So designers design, kind of the game. We have balance designers who balance the game, initial designers who come up with, hey, what is it that we're building next, and what are some cool game mechanics. We have artists who make that look beautiful. We have 2D artists who paint. We have 3D artists who model. We have effects artists who make things explode.
Yeah.
And then we have engineers who, it's a video game, so we got to program it. So who kind of bring all of this to life. Producers, we're here to work with those 3 other departments to understand, okay, all together as a team, what's Hearthstone, as a game, as a really fun game, as a team and as a business, like what is our vision all together? How do we get there? We build a roadmap, like schedule and kind of plans to get there,
like
and
a
then
design document kind of, or
design document would be generated by a designer, but where we would come into play is like, hey, designer, I'm gonna make something up. It's like, oh, hey, like you wanna make, Knights of the Frozen Throne, which is expansion we're releasing next.
Right.
So, by around this time, we should really have figured out what our core game mechanic is, such that our engineers can start exploring like what it would take to build that thing.
Okay.
So, we'll be talking to each of these departments about like what their kind of imagination and where their dreams are, right? Like, what would be the awesomest version of this, right? And then we work with them to be like, okay, well, I really want to make that happen. This is what we need to do to get there. So that's where I come in.
So you're kind of like the spark plug, but behind all departments, right?
Yeah.
Like you put them together and like.
in other industries, I think.
Steve's got a question.
Oh.
My bad. See, I'm just so geeked out right now. It's
In other industries, I think our job could be described as like product management or project management. We're kind of a hybrid of the two. So yeah, it's like, hey, what are we building? Is that really awesome? Okay, cool. How do we get there?
Right.
And then it getting us there, because that's also the nuts and bolts of every day.
Yeah, I watch a lot of like extra credits. I don't know if you've ever seen anything on them.
a little bit.
I think I remember them when they were just.
Dan Emmons used to be an extra credits.
Yeah, the artist, right?
No, isn't it? Is extra credits the?
There's so many Dans
okay.
that are part of extra credits.
Is extra credits the? It's like a YouTube video where they like break down different games.
Yeah, exactly.
He was one of the like designers who used to talk on that show. He's one of our event designers now. Yeah, it's really awesome to have him. Yeah,
that is super cool. Yeah, they literally have like a bunch of Dans, so I'm not sure which one that is, but I'm sure.
I think he mentioned something about how there were like a million Dans. Yeah.
But I remember them talking about like a story where I think it was a producer, and just to make sure I'm understanding and not just like attaching stories to things. There was like an issue where the art department had to go through all these jumps and hoops to make something work, and then the producer saw that, and they'd been doing that for like months, and he like ran over to the programmer, brought him over to the art department, showed him the problem, and then like he was like, oh yeah, we can fix this like that, and then that bottleneck was stopping. Is that kind of what you're doing?
Very good example of kinds of work we would end up doing during execution phase. It's like, hey artists, like tell me what's painful for you to do. So we made our next expansion is going to be Knights of the Frozen Throne. It's like, hey artists, like we have this new card type called hero cards. We kind of want this hero to come in, like you want to play the card and like it replaces your hero. It's like a brand new thing we've never done before. And this might not be an actual real example, but kind of made up example could be, it's like, an artist could be like, it's going to take me like 40 hours to do that because it's this crazy thing and it's like totally impossible to do. Then yes, we would come in and try to solve that problem. Like, why is this so difficult? Like, where are the pain points? Like, oh my God, you're doing those things by hand? A robot should be helping you with that. And then we get like a engineer connected. So yeah.
Nice. So I guess we should probably talk a little bit. I mean, we already are talking a little bit about Knights of the Frozen Throne. So what information are you able to give us without crossing anything lines that we don't want to get in trouble for? Yeah. No spoilers, but what can you tell people?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about like why are we doing Knights of the Frozen Throne?
Sure.
It's like we could be doing so many different things, and we have so much to still explore in the world of Azeroth, World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So first of all, we've been wanting to do an expansion centered around the Lich King forever. And you played Blizzard games.
To be totally honest, World of Warcraft is my weakest Blizzard game. I got to like level 7 and then was like, okay, MMOs, I've yet to find one that really hits me. But yeah.
Well, let's talk about the Lich King, because I think for a lot of people who play Blizzard games for a long time, we take it for granted. It's like, oh well, it's the Lich King. Oh, he's so cool. Like I can't believe we're making an expansion about the Lich King. For a lot of people, it's like, well, who's the Lich King? Like, why is he so cool? I think one way I can put it is, the Lich King is basically Blizzard's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So back in 2002, Lich King was first introduced in Warcraft 3, which I played actually, like as I was finishing up college.
Nice.
It's like such a long time ago already, right?
Yeah. I do remember when the expansion was released. Like my friends that were super into WoW, like were like geeking out over it, like Death Knights and whatever, and like yeah.
Because he's kind of like the ultimate bad guy, It's like if you think about Darth Vader and like the Sith, it's like it kind of evokes this feelings, if you know anything about Star Wars. It's that way with the Lich King. Like he's the ultimate bad guy. He was the ultimate good guy that become corrupted and became the ultimate bad guy, and now he is threatening the whole world. So we've been really excited to make an expansion around him for a while. One of the things that's been stopping us is, if we ever do a kind of a Lich King expansion, first we want to have a breadth of cards that explore everything we can surrounding the Lich King. Like, hey, like there are Death Knight, there are the undead, there are kind of these special abilities that comes with being, kind of the thrall of the Lich King and the people who are battling him. At the same time, we wanted to have a narrative component where we really kind of get into Lich King as a character. You know, we really didn't want us to kind of go into an expansion with Lich King and then players would come out of it who didn't really know him, going like, I don't know, I still don't know who he is. He seems fine.
He's like one card.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, I guess he's cool. His card's pretty powerful, I guess.
Looks pretty.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like no one ever plays him because he's like 11 mana. He's not 11 mana. Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to do an expansion that, you know, but we also wanted to really have kind of a narrative component to it through missions. And usually in the past we've done kind of these narrative adventures and expansions like kind of in sequence. Mm-hmm. We used to take turns. This is the first time where we're doing a full expansion with 130 some cards, but it will come with free set of missions where you really get to kind of explore Lich King and his minions and kind of have a chance to really meet him. Mm-hmm. So now we finally made that decision. Our team is big enough to handle that kind of workload. We're really excited to have an expansion where you get you get like 130 some cards that are surrounding Lich King, and you get that narrative component through the missions, and we're really excited about it.
Can I take a little detour since we're talking about narrative?
Of course.
We were told that you guys are working on a comic or comic series based in Hearthstone. So can you talk a little bit about that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, comics is something that we're starting to get into. By no means are we like masters of the art. For us, really, there's so much kind of story we want to explore kind of surrounding the Lich King, and also, one of the things that I find to be really exciting is kind of these alternate universe versions of like your heroes. So, when you talk about comics, there's like Superman and there's Ultraman and like the alternate Earth, like Earth. I'm gonna butcher this, like 236 or whatever, right?
Yeah,
and there's there's like Batman and there's like Owlman, and like even if you watch like Star Trek or something, there's like the good Kirk, and then like there's the like mustached evil Kirk, and that's always like fascinating. Like here are heroes that we know and love, and here are then alternate versions of them, and like what's that like? It's so much fun, right? So in Knights of the Frozen Throne, we're really exploring that, where it's like, hey, here are 9 heroes that we all know and love, but they've been killed and they've been risen from the dead to become champions of evil. Like, what's that like? And we've done a lot of that through the cards, and we've done a lot of that through the free missions that all players will get to enjoy. But we wanted to like do a little more, especially for our fans, and like let's explore that. Let's talk about that more. So that was kind of our motivation for making the comics. We love to get feedback from the community on how they like it. I think it's a great way to kind of add more of that texture to the game for people who are looking for it. And we love to make do more of these and keep making better versions of it.
Sorry. So will your comics probably keep that lighthearted humor that Hearthstone has built into it pretty much?
So the comics are available now. You can you can go to comic.hearthstone.com. Correct me if I got that wrong. It's either comics or comic.hearthstone.com. It's kind of told in the story of there's like a bard in a tavern, because Hearthstone's really about, hey, we're in the tavern, maybe we're sharing a brew, we're having some beer, we're hanging out, and then like we're playing this game in kind of this fun, kind of safe environment of the tavern. So the comic kind of starts out as like somebody in a tavern letting everyone know, like, gather around, like here's a story of like what could have happened if our champions became evil. And so it kind of already like that takes that edge off, right? This is not like the world is doomed, everybody's dead, like this is what happened. It's more like, okay, we had a few drinks, I'm gonna tell you this tall tale. And I think it's a really fun way to explore that space.
Before I ask my next question, I want to make, how tired are your arms? I don't want to keep you. You're good? Okay, thank you.
The true unsung hero.
Yeah, he's our man. Thank you so much. What was your name?
Michael.
Shout out to Michael in PR? Marketing. Shout out to Michael in marketing. He's helping us out. Thank you so much. So you mentioned a little bit about a super cool new mechanic that it's been a while since I've really delved into Hearthstone. I tried to get serious for a little while, but like that happens with a lot of stuff, I moved on to the next fun game. But
one of the things we really strive for Hearthstone is, look, we don't need players to play our game like every day, 3 times a day, like every waking hour. You know,
I appreciate that. That you don't have like a lot of these like normal free-to-play trappings that like ruin my life.
I mean, you know, it's all about like healthy engagement, right? Like, well, if you release a new set, you know, and it's like Knights of the Frozen Thrones, and it's like a new way to look at our heroes, and what if they became evil? And that excites you, like, come back and enjoy us, you know, and then you got other things to do, like your life gets busy, or you got other games to play, go play that, and then if next expansion catches your fancy, like, come back again. That's totally fine.
But that sounds like a really exciting mechanic. You said you can change heroes in the middle of the game?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Totally. So we were really thinking about like what's the best way to explore that fantasy, right? And obviously we didn't want to have like 18 heroes,
right,
9 plus 9 more. So we have a new type of card called Hero Card. So those cards are neither minion nor spell. It's a new type of card called Hero Card, and they cost like some amount of mana. So like Rexxar is a good example. So you play X amount of mana, and then when you play that, you get some amount of armor. And then your hero portrait like flips over into like the corrupted version of it, and you get like a new hero power.
Oh, cool.
So for the example of Rexxar, what happens when you play the hero card is he because his hero power is deal 2 damage to opponent's face, right?
So it's more like another form of the hero you're already playing as, right?
Yeah.
It's not like switching from Jaina to the Paladin or something like that.
In some ways, it's almost that different, because what happens is you play the kind of evil version of Rexxar, and he would fire kind of an arrow, kind of his one last kind of burst of like what he used to be, which is shoot the arrow, and then he deals 2 damage to all opponents' minions, and then he flips over, and his hero power becomes build a zombie beast. So kind of in this corrupted version of Rexxar, he, in his like undeath, like hunts for the ultimate trophies. So what he does is he goes out and like kills all these beasts, and then he stitches them together to make the ultimate beast companion. So yeah, what you do is you discover a beast.
Oh, no, you keep going.
Yeah. So you discover a beast, and then you discover another beast, and then you jam them together.
Yeah.
And so like if the first beast had like
a cool chimera.
Yeah, like a death rattle, and the second one part had like, I don't know, draw 2 cards or something. You would get a beast that's like has death rattle and draw 2 cards, and then it comes into your hand and you can play it.
That's super
so
cool.
It's like a completely different way to play Rexxar, and explore a completely different fantasy of Rexxar, this corrupted, kind of evil zombie beast gathering version of Rexxar. And I'm really excited.
That's so cool.
All right, so we've got to wrap it up. So we've got more guys that need to
Cool, I
talk
could
to
talk
you and
about
get their
stuff
time.
forever.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on and on, but thank you very much for your time and sitting with us and just chatting. But really appreciate it.
It's been a joy. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, that's really awesome chatting with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your viewers as well. Thank you for enjoying Hearthstone. If you haven't played it yet, check it out.
Yeah. Is there any like a final plug you want to add, like maybe before next?
Yeah, totally. I think a lot of people, when they look at a card game, they get intimidated. They're like, oh, it looks too complicated. Maybe it's not for me. We heard the same thing when we were making the game and we were in internal company alpha. And really, try the game. You can play it for free on iPhone or Android or PC. Get through the tutorial, and I really feel like you'll fall in love.
Nice.
All right, well,
Hey, thank you so much.
it's Comic Cock 616, and we're going to go sign off now.
Okay. Thank you.